Howdy, crew. It is the second day working the Port of Los Angeles. Very excited. Things went well the prior day, which was fantastic. Took longer than expected, as I mentioned in the prior vlog, because of the holes that had to be cut out. That was not at first specified that had to be done. So today's going to be the welding and installation. I know I have some guys that are on the crew of the construction company that will be helping me out, so that's fantastic. Getting everything lined up and just moving as quickly and efficiently as possible. I did talk to the guy who was in charge of concrete and the foreman the prior day, and I told him I'm going to have to take a little bit longer because I'm welding right next to concrete. Within about a quarter of an inch to the toe of the bead to concrete to maybe 3/8 of an inch. And it's just really close, and I have to go slow, and just some of the methods for the welding. I'm going to go into that in detail. When you're welding that close to concrete or exposing concrete to that much heat, whether you be oxyfuel cutting over it, plasma cutting right over it, you have to shield it from the heat or just take it slow and not expose it to that much heat in such a concentrated form, because there is moisture in concrete. Even when it's set, there's moisture. And when you put that much heat to it, it starts to expand, turns into like a little bit of steam, and you actually start to pop the concrete out. And you don't want that ever. But also, this is a brand new project. You really don't want that right now. So I talked to the concrete guy, and he was actually going to be helping me put the stuff in. So he was right there. If something were to happen, he could just freshen up the concrete. But I wanted to mitigate that as much as possible. I really, really did not want to start messing with the concrete. So I paid close attention, a little bit more attention to the concrete than to the weld. And so once I saw the concrete acting up a little bit, start to do a little bit of popping, I stopped. And the welds came out fantastic. I was very happy with it. If I saw that it was starting to do a little something, but I had time to adjust, I started to move the bead a little bit further away, and I'd move it back once I saw the concrete wasn't doing anything. It was like a little bit of cat and mouse, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And a couple times I just stopped right in the middle of the weld and then kind of feathered out the crater and started again. It was fantastic. Worked like a charm. It's absolutely great. So that was my method of the day, was just either going super fast on the overhead portion and kind of going a little bit extra slow because I had a little bit more room to see what was going on with the concrete when I was in the flat position, because I actually see the concrete. Overhead, I just want to get through it, and I would stack several beads. The top, I just put one bead, and I would move a little bit slower, get a nice wide bead, and if the concrete acted up, either move the bead back and forth or just stop halfway and then wait for it to cool, weld on another portion, feather out the crater, and finish out the weld. So I was very happy with how things were going. It was wonderful working in the port, seeing the sunrise in the mirrors. I love that, whether it be sunrise in the mirrors, sunset in the mirrors. It's always fantastic. It's really cool. You have the color of the sky in front of you, but then you look in the mirrors, you have all the really beautiful colors of the sunrise or the sunset. It's absolutely amazing. And then just having the horizon being the colors of the sunrise or sunset. I just love it. I've always loved that, traveling job sites or being on a job site at sunrise or sunset. Some of my personal favorite moments on a job site is at sunrise or sunset because of all the colors in the sky. I just love working at that time of the day. It's absolutely fantastic being outside and seeing that. It's really cool, especially at the Port of Los Angeles. You get to see it by the water. It's awesome. So everything was going great today. I was very happy about it. I'll be going into more detail a little bit later. But if you notice on one of the pictures in here, the weld is stopped halfway. And the other one, it starts to veer out a little bit and then veer back in. But what made it even trickier, which I did not like, I guess it made it more fun, but I didn't like the material, the galvanized steel. I don't know if this is just cheaper galvanized steel that was being used, but it flaked heavily. It really flaked, whether I was cutting it or welding it. It wasn't one or the other, it was both, but it flaked heavily. I don't know what it was. It just seemed to react very poorly to the heat. And so I don't know if it was just the alloys in this one for it to be galvanized. I've worked on galvanized before and it wasn't this bad, but it was just very interesting. I would have rather had a little bit higher quality material, whether it be galvanized or mild steel. But, it was just, it didn't work very well with the heat. It just flaked. Huge chunks would flake off when I was cutting, or if I was welding it, I'd see flakes popping off. And when I'd worked with galvanized before, it doesn't do this normally. So I didn't care for that. But anywho's, there's going to be more stuff coming up later in the vlog, which I'm super excited to show. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Here's what the plates look like when I have them welded up on the post with the holes that I cut out the day prior, 1 inch center on center below. Everything looked great. In this picture, y'all can see that I started moving out a little bit just to preserve the concrete as much as possible. There's the rig in the background. In the short little clip next, y'all can see where I stopped and started. Everything's looking good here. Just finished this bay. I got one more bay to go. It'll be 6 bays done. Very happy about it. Got a lot of stuff done, a lot of fun just doing it, being out in the field, and of course the Port of Los Angeles. What? Booyah! So, anywho's, gotta show the rig. So, tons of fun. The bays, they're used to back in the trucks. As y'all can see that truck. There's back in. And then the big critters up there in the sky and come down, get the Connex box, put on the ship. So, anywho's, that'll reorganize it for a later date whenever it needs to be, whether it needs to be delayed or moved to a different area. So, anywho's, just tons of fun being here in the port, working, and make some money. So, anywho's, I'll be back. I was very happy completing the day, happy with all the welds, happy with how everything turned out. I talked to the guy who used to be a welder out in the field, but is now higher up in the company that I subcontract out to, as well as the foreman. They looked over the welds. They were very happy with them. They wanted me back when they're going to do other stuff, so that is fantastic. I went over the pricing with them because initially I was told I was only going to be out the day prior and that they need me out today, so I went over pricing with both of them. They said, that's great. Just send them the invoice for the amounts that we talked about once the job was completed. So I was going to go back to the yard and do that. Wonderful views from the truck, seeing the water, seeing all the stuff at the port, and just all the amount of time and effort I've put into this from what y'all have seen and what y'all haven't seen on this channel. Before my very best friend persuaded me to even start a channel, I've been planning the welding rig. I've been wanting to get this done, for just making it from a vision to a reality, and I'm just very happy that the first job is done. It went smoothly, and just having it done, and that it's under the belt, ready to go, and just to say that the rig has completed a job. It has a job under its belt. It's done it. It's ready to go to the next thing, and for years and years before my very best friend persuaded me to start this channel, being able to have all that time of thought and effort, dedication, researching things to be put together and having it reality and having this job done, it's just a wonderful feeling. I'm very ecstatic about it. It's just, it feels wonderful. So, gonna be heading back out. Freeway's a little bit backed up. Y'all will see that in a moment. Traffic, goody. It's Los Angeles. So that is one thing I don't like about driving out in the middle of the day or rush hour for anywhere in Los Angeles. But at least the job was done nice and at a nice, decent time of the day. It was in the middle of the day. So that was really good. And again, wonderful views. Just wanted to soak up the scenery of the first job. having it done, heading out from the port, and just knowing that the job's done. The job was completed, and the rig could handle it. Everything went smoothly. Everything went fine. And it's just I wouldn't say a relieving feeling. It's the I knew it feeling. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it could be done. I knew all this time, effort would pay off. And so I'm just very happy about that. There'll be more vlogs coming up on stuff that happened before this job site, as well as following job sites coming up. So I'm excited to have these out here, and there's going to be plenty more content coming up very soon. See y'all in the next vlog.